Hello and welcome to this video from filmsbychris.com. That's Chris with the K. I'm Chris with the K. Today working with our Linux system, in this case an Android system, which is a Linux system. But like any Linux system, the kernel can be compiled different and you can have different settings. So we're going to be working through ADB. Now, right here I'm on my desktop, right? And we know if you're familiar at all with Linux, all your hardware devices are in a folder called dev. And then your input devices, mouse, keyboards, joysticks, will be in a folder called input. Now, if I come in here and I list out, you can see all these events. Now, some of them are clear. We have mouse 1 and mouse 2, even though I'm pretty sure I only have one mouse hooked up. But sometimes devices, especially like keyboards, might show up as separate devices for like maybe the media buttons on your keyboard. And then we have a joystick, a game controller somewhere, and then all these other events. But what are each of these events? What are all these inputs? Well, on most desktop Linux systems, you have these other folders in here by ID and by path. If I was to go into either of those, I can list out, and you can see we get clearer names. You can see that we have my keyboard here. Again, the keyboard is listed as two different devices, and the mouse is listed as two different devices. And then we have other devices here as well, but we can kind of get an idea of what they are based on their names. And these are just links. So if I was to do a long list, you can see like this gaming keyboard points to event 22. This one points to event 23. So we can kind of narrow things down. And if we were to back out and go to the by dash path, it's similar. The names are a little bit different. Doesn't give you the full name like this one. I know this is the Logitech keyboard, but I can see a keyboard event here and a keyboard event here very clearly with the KBD. And if I was to, again, do a long list, these are just symbolic links linking to those events. So I can figure out quickly, within reason, which device is which just by going here and looking. Some of these are listed more than once, but you can see event 22 is the keyboard here. It says the same thing up here. But on an Android system, it's a little different. Let's go ADB shell. We can go into our dev folder and we can go into our input folder. And let's clear the screen, list out here, we have our events, but we don't know what they are. I can even do a long list, but they're not going to link to anything because these are where the inputs are. And in a previous video, I was clicking the power button, but it took me a lot. I had to try catting out event this, event that, event this, all the way through until I found which one was the power button. But can we get names of the devices on an Android device? The answer is yes, but in a kind of a quirky way. And the way I came up, you do need root for some weird reason. And I say some weird reason because if I go to my desktop device again here, these are my notes. There'll be a link to them in the description. But I should be able to go into this directory on my desktop computer, right? And I can list here and we can see the events. And then I can move into one of these. We'll just say number 6 for sure, just picking one. And here I can list out, and there's another folder called device. So I can go into device and then I can cat out the name and it will give me the name, right? This is actually my video card's HDMI port. So I can detect whether the HDMI is being plugged in or not, I'm assuming is what that's for. But I can get into here and read this. On an Android device, it's so weird. I can't. There's no reason that you shouldn't, as a regular user, be able to access that directory. But if I was to try to go into the sys class input and then list stuff out, let me go into event 0, list out, device, list out, cat name. It gives me a permission denied. I knew at some point it was going to give me a permission denied because I tried this. Why Android doesn't want you to know the name of the different devices is confusing to me. So let me just list out. I actually haven't looked at this. Oh, we got a bunch of question marks here. Power. Yeah, a lot of them, the permissions are all question marks. So I don't know why that is. But actually, I was just playing around. If I go back out into this, I was able to get into event 0. But if I try to go into event 6, it tells me permission denied. I don't know why Android insists on hiding this information from you. But it doesn't matter because you should have your system rooted. If you're not root, there's a root account on all these devices. If you're not root, somebody else is. Basically the way I look at it, right? So now I'm root. And now I can go into, let's see, we're going to go into system, class, nope, if I spell things right, input, event 6, and then I can go into device here, and I can cat out the name of that device, and it's pen to text. So my phone is actually has a stylus that I never use, and it tucks away in the phone. And originally, when you popped it out, it would automatically start some Motorola note-taking application that I installed. So I'm assuming that this is an input that detects when the pen is put in and taken out of the phone. So I could have the phone do something when I plug the phone in and out with a script if I knew that. But okay, this doesn't really help me because we're going in and out. Just like before, I would have to cat out each event and press a button, do whatever. We need to script this out. So let's just go ahead. Again, you have to be root. Check out the notes in the description to this. Let's just go ahead. This is just going to list out all the events in this input directory that have a device name, okay? And then we're going to pipe that into a while loop, which is basically going to give us this. So it's going to give us event 0 is this. We can see event 1 is some sort of GPIO keys. And then again, the pen is event 6. Again, sometimes the names are not super clear. Here's our touch screen is event 7. So if I was to cat dev input event 7, turn on my phone and just start touching the screen, whoo, we get output. Which, if we exit out, I was to cat dev input event. Did I say, what did I say? Event? Which event was that? 7. I can access as regular user. It's weird that it won't let me know the name of this device as a regular user, but I can get the raw output that's coming from that device because theoretically I could decode that and get where you're pressing, and theoretically, if I knew when you were unlocking your phone, I could get where you're pressing and figure out your combination, right? So it's weird. It's weird that the permissions are set up like this. So anyway, back to our script here. If we wanted to, we can now do this again. So I did this, which lists it all, but we have, this and this, which I don't need. So the next little part is just a sed that trims it up a little bit. Run that again, and we have the event and the name, the event and the name. This can help us determine, again, exactly which device is which. Like I have a headphone jack here because my phone does still have a headphone jack, and so when you plug in headphones, I can detect when headphones are plugged in, knowing that that's event 9. Also, this particular device has over 10 devices, so they're a little out of order here. We can always take that command and we can then pipe it into, so we'll take this and we'll pipe it into sort with a capital V, which will sort it with the proper numeric order. So now event 10 and 11 are down here. I wrote here, sorting is slow. When I tried this the other day, it took a couple of seconds for it to sort it. It seems to be working fine now. I don't know what that was all about. Anyway, check out the links in the description. This is not something that you necessarily would, run in a script. I guess you could, but this is like if you're sitting there and you're trying to write a script that does something with some sort of input, you can run this quickly to, again, get a list of devices, and you can figure out without going and having to cat each one and try something, maybe find the device you're looking for. I thought you might find this useful. I certainly did once I figured it out. Thanks for watching. Filmsbychris.com. That's Chris with a K. I hope that you're having a happy new year. I say that because I'm recording this on New Year's Eve. You may be watching this a month or two from now, or maybe 10 years from now. I hope the new year goes well for you. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment if you find my videos useful. I do have a support section on my website. You can support me many different ways. But if you can't support me financially, just like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. I appreciate you watching, and I hope that you have a great day.